So it turns out that we're all procrastinators until you get in the right environment. Genetically and in our DNA, we're built to conserve energy. A long time ago, those people who were highly motivated, got up out of bed and bounced around trying to build things and make things, probably died off during the famine because they were burning too much energy. People who were sitting in the shade waiting for the berries to grow probably conserved energy, had enough to eat and survived longer. So what happens when you actually do the research now is you find that successful entrepreneurs, athletes, doctors, lawyers, professionals, they all are actually procrastinators when they don't have a deadline. So the way to beat procrastination is not to try and tackle procrastination because it's hardwired into our body. The way to beat procrastination is to go for something that is even more hardwired into our body and more hardwired into the DNA. And that is the desire to be fitting in with a tribe. So we use a philosophy called environment dictates performance. Environment dictates performance says that humans will do extraordinary things if they're in the right environment. If I put you into a Google environment, you'll behave all googly, you'll do things the Google way, you'll have conversations that seem extraordinary outside of the Google environment, but seem very ordinary inside the Google environment. So for a Google employee, it's very normal to talk about 10 million users of a product or achieving 1 million downloads in the first week of launching a product. Outside of the environment of Google, that would be a really radical conversation, but inside that environment, it's just normalized. So the key is that we have to get ourselves into the right environment where the expectations of that environment normalizes the type of results that we want. So there are 4 keys that make up a great environment. The first one is access to best practices or strategies. So in order to get anything done, we need to know the most effective and the most efficient way to get it done. If we're going to create a website, we need to not start with trial and error from the very beginning, but understand what are the best practices as they currently stand for creating great websites. If we're going to do sales or marketing campaigns, we need to understand what does the world already know about doing great sales and marketing campaigns right now, not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, but right now, what are the best strategies for achieving a successful sales and marketing campaign? So part number 1 of an environment is that there's a constant conversation around best practices. Part number 2 is that you have a dynamic peer group of people who are all doing the types of things that you want to achieve. So if you're in the right peer group, let's imagine that you want to play great tennis and you join a tennis club and everyone's playing tennis, everyone's talking about tennis, everyone's adjusting each other's racket and their serve, and that conversation is the normal conversation, and it's easy to find someone who wants to have a game with you, and it's easy to find someone who wants to practice, it's easy to find a coach or a mentor or someone who's at the next level of tennis. In that environment, with that peer group, playing great tennis becomes the norm and improving your tennis game becomes the norm. So not only do you need access to strategy, you also need to be around a tribe or a peer group of people who are also doing what you want to do. The third key is a system of accountability. So we all tend to leave things until the very last minute because at the last minute we know we're going to be measured. If we can measure things along the way and we have weekly accountability or daily accountability or more regular accountability, we tend to improve faster because we get measured and we don't want to let people down when there's accountability. So having a system of external accountability really helps with that hard wiring for high performance. And then the final thing is access to resources. You might have the strategies, you might be surrounded with great people, you might have great accountability, but if you genuinely need capital, if you genuinely need technicians in a particular project, if you genuinely need certain technology and you don't have access to those resources, then it's incredibly difficult to get anything done. So you do need the access to resources. So an environment of high performance is made up of those 4 key elements: best practices, peer group, accountability, and resources.